Rising together, confronting the divisions in our society today, I want to talk to you about something that weighs heavily on my heart, the divisions in our society. Look around you. We're living in an age where polarization reigns supreme. Divided by ideology, race, gender, and socioeconomic status, we find ourselves living in silos, disconnected and often hostile toward one another. It's a landscape that breeds animosity instead of understanding and fosters fear instead of compassion. How did we get here? How did we allow ourselves to be segmented into opposing camps, turning on one another when we should be coming together? It's as if we've forgotten the power of collective effort, the incredible strength that emerges when individuals unite for a common cause. We can't continue down this path, my friends. This division doesn't just weaken us as individuals, it threatens to destroy the very fabric of our society. Let's face it, the media often fuels this division, sensationalizing differences and magnifying our disagreements. The world feeds us a narrative of us against them, and too many of us swallow it without question. We've become a generation of combatants, armed with our opinions and ready for battle. But here's the truth. While we're busy fighting each other, we're missing the real enemy. The real enemy is the fear that separates us, the ideology that keeps us from seeing each other as human. It's time we confront that fear head on. It's time we acknowledge that our differences should be celebrated, not condemned. Picture a world where we break down the walls of division and embrace the diversity that makes us stronger. Imagine the power of unity, where we focus on what connects us rather than what tears us apart. But I know, there's a darkness to this journey. Unity requires effort. It requires courage to step outside our comfort zones. It demands we challenge the narratives we've been fed, and that's where it gets uncomfortable. It's easy to hide behind our screens and throw stones from a distance. It's much harder to put yourself in someone else's shoes and truly listen. So I challenge you, are you willing to engage with those who hold different views? Are you prepared to confront the biases that might reside in your own heart? Because here's the reality, if we're going to rise above the divisions, we must first seek to understand one another. Look around you and acknowledge the people you engage with daily. Do you only surround yourself with those who echo your beliefs? It's easier to dwell in the echo chambers of agreement, but true growth happens in the tension of disagreement. It happens in the moments when we're uncomfortable. When was the last time you sat down with someone who challenged your views? That's where the magic begins, when you step into their world, listen to their experiences, and recognize their humanity. In these times, we must cultivate the kind of resilience that withstands the harsh winds of division. It's a resilience that says, I will not allow the negativity of the world to dictate my response. It recognizes that our differences are not threats, they're invitations to dialogue. When we choose to engage instead of retreating, we open the door to understanding, healing, and growth. We begin to dismantle the walls that keep us apart, brick by brick. Alone we can do so little. Together we can do so much, said Helen Keller. And how true those words ring today. Every time we choose empathy over judgment, every time we choose dialogue over silence, we are standing united in the face of division. This is not just an ideal, it's a responsibility we share. It's about taking that first step to reach out to someone who may see the world differently than you do. It's hard, it's messy, but it's absolutely necessary. Remember, we're not here to just exist. We're here to connect. Let's push against the fear that tells us it's safer to remain in our corners. Let's reject the narrative that insists on keeping us divided. Instead, let's become warriors of unity. Stand up and say, I will not be a part of this division. I will rise above the hate, the fear, and the misunderstanding. I will choose to embrace my fellow human beings, regardless of our differences. This is your moment to rise. It's time to extinguish the flames of division with the waters of compassion and understanding. Every action you take to build bridges instead of walls will ripple through the fabric of our society. It's about creating an environment where every voice matters, every story is valued, and every individual can thrive. So dig deep and find that resilience within you. The world is calling for change, and that change begins with you and me. Let's rise together.